Hi, my name is Leland Yates. This is my final presentation for Finance 452 in Dr. John Cresson's class. The point of this presentation was we had to look and we had to analyze the Hayward Gibbs scholarship portfolio that's gifted to Southeastern. Roughly, this portfolio currently has a rough value of about $1.2 million, with the latter part about 40% invested in T-bills. The beginning 60%, which is what we're looking at here, is what we have invested in stocks. And basically what we had to do is we had to take these stocks, look at them, we had to kind of see if we could maybe tweak them a little bit, adjust the ratios, add something new, see if we could maybe help the return a little bit. So basically first what we have is we have a list of stocks. For the most part, this is a very diversified portfolio. You've got AT&T, Comcast, Energy, Exxon, you've got Home Depot, you've got Krispy Kreme, which was actually really surprising to me that they were, all in all, even though they had one of the lower weights, they did really, really well. I mean, they had a return of 3.5% over the last 10 years, which is fantastic, which is really unexpected. We've got Texas Instruments, we've got Tyson's Food, Verizon, 3M Company. Basically what we did is we took the weights and we figured everything up. The entire portfolio return, which you can see from my formula as well. Basically I just multiplied all the weights by the returns, which gives me a total value of the portfolio return of 1.35%. Not losing money, but it's not fantastic. So basically we decided to start kind of playing with it. So what I did is I've got my first one. This is the current portfolio. I did three different proposals. This is my first one. This has got your stocks. This has got your prices, your number of shares, your total value in dollar-wise. The total dollar-wise value of the current portfolio on the stock side that we have is $811,223. The weights, the returns, and then at the end we have the portfolio return. So for the first proposal, all I did was I played with a couple of different numbers. I didn't really know how adjusting everything was going to work. So what I basically did was I just kind of changed a couple of shares here and there. I took a couple from AT&T. I added some to Krispy Kreme. I took a little bit from Johnson & Johnson, just to really kind of play around with it and see what happened. Notably, I didn't really have to do anything major. As you can see, I just added 100, took away 200 here and there. My standard deviation stayed relatively the same, 0.00759, and my portfolio return is 1.352. So I didn't really accomplish too much with my first proposal. Second proposal that I did, took me, I ended up buying 300 shares of Cisco. I sold a good bit of Comcast because there's not really a need to have that many Cisco and that many Comcast in one portfolio. So ultimately, I took Cisco, I bought more Cisco, and I dropped Comcast because Comcast was a little bit more expensive. It was dragging our weight down a little bit. And all in all, it was doing all right, but it wasn't doing fantastic. I actually added a good bit. I actually added 600 stocks to Johnson & Johnson. It took away from Krispy Kreme. Krispy Kreme did do extremely well, but to me, they weren't weighted that much in the overall portfolio. I took away 600 of their stocks. That way I could use some of the money in Krispy Kreme to reinvest in your Johnson & Johnson and Cisco. And then I also took 300 shares from Texas Instruments, and I bought a little bit more in Verizon, a little bit more in AT&T. And what I was able to come up with is I was able to get a portfolio return of 1.59%, which is a 0.25% increase from the previous original portfolio that Southeastern has, and then a standard deviation of 0.00759. So I literally have the exact same standard deviation as proposal number one and the original stock portfolio for Southeastern. Southeastern's original stock portfolio is also, standard deviation is also 0.0075. So this one right now, this one's my best. I wanted to go ahead and try one more. Basically, I wanted to see what would happen if I took out 3 underperforming stocks and replaced them with 3 stocks that I liked. And basically from another class that I had to do in Dr. Cresson's class, I already had some of these stocks that I liked. I picked some of my 5 best, and this is some from the list. I dropped AT&T, Cisco, and Verizon because they weren't weighted that much. We weren't really making a lot of returns off of it, and I wanted to try something else. So what I did is I added Amazon, Shake Shack, and Sears Holding Corp in their place. It did not really work out as well as I thought it was. portfolio return was 1.38%, so it was higher than the original portfolio was. However, the standard deviation was also higher, so it was riskier than the other two at the 0.009, which I know I can attribute a lot of that to Shake Shack. Shake Shack has done really, really well, but it's only been open as an IPO or for a corporation for the last 6 months. So that one's kind of a wild card. All in all, when I compared all my results, I assumed that Proposal 3 was going to be my best option, but by adding stocks into Cisco and Johnson & Johnson, who have historically shown really good returns, and dropping some from Krispy Kreme, who's had really good returns, but has also been sporadic in yearly increments, as well as Texas Instruments, we see that I've got the highest return of the 1.59 and the lowest risk of the 0.00759, which puts them right on the efficient frontier. So I hope you've enjoyed this today. This is my final presentation. Thank you. Have a good night.